Yeah, some people are finding that.
Can you zoom that out a little bit, like, so except for
It helps too.
Can you zoom in a little bit? Can you make it back in a little bit?
No, zoom it out. That's good. Like, yeah. That works. What do we get?
The COVID virus affects one's brain.
I've had it for a while now, several years.
I forget everybody's name and.
That has nothing to do with
No,
That's me. Oh, that's what I'm gonna say.
it. That's what I'm saying.
If the judge says I can't see. The elevator.
Anything we do,
If not,
oh, yeah.
looks good.
I've known that.
it's over doctor. You see him, but I have some stuff that he's doing.
You did? What you get? I got 210.
Yeah, but you've been getting all the other days.
But I still need it.
I still need more.
Yeah, I gave me the
It was about a mile long. Why?
Did it go down 1344? Nope. 97?
From about 1344 to 3160.
Right there.
And it didn't even make the delete. All I know is the water didn't stand very long.
Sucked it up.
That's the problem.
Okay, let's get started. It is 9 a.m. Monday, August 24th, 2020. Wilson County Commissioners Court is now in session. We'll have an opening prayer by Thomas Bonham, Associate Pastor of the Forestville Church of Christ.
You'll go with me in prayer. Our most gracious and loving Heavenly Father, we praise your holy name. We thank you for this day and the many blessings you have given us each and every day. Father, help us to always remember that all things have come from your mighty hand of creation. Father, as this meeting of Wilson County Commissioners Court comes to order, we thank you for our elected servants, Judge Jackson, our commissioners, Gomez, Wow, Ajak, and Wiley. Watch over them and all those who support them in their work. Keep them safe from harm. They hold these positions of honor among the people of this county. Father, grant this court wisdom and unity as they represent the citizens of this county. As their decisions this day will serve in the best interest of those citizens. Father, as each of us strives to serve one another to the best of our abilities, grant us peace and love throughout our days of service. In the end, eternal life with you in heavenly bliss. Father, this is our earnest prayer. In the name of our Savior and your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Okay. Moving right on to agenda item number 3, Richard L. Jackson County Judge, Gwyneth Dominguez County Auditor. Okay, 3A at 9 a.m. have a budget hearing, and now the budget hearing is open for any comments. Okay, Eva Martinez. Oh,
Good morning, honorable commissioners and county judge. I respectfully come before you and request a part-time employee. I have 6 full-time employees, myself makes 7, and I have a floater. In the past several years, the work has increased, and you're wondering, well, during COVID, it should have slowed down. But in ours, it did not. In our office, the title companies continued to work. The attorneys were able to work out of their homes. So if they were in the evening taking care of a client, they could submit their paperwork through e-filing. So our office continued to work 24/7, serving the public in the best way that they could. We have a lot of deadlines that we have to meet. And one of the things that y'all created that is wonderful, and I need to compliment you on it, is the grants. Because the grants help this county with money that is much needed when you have a situation that has been thrusted upon you, but no money comes with it, but you still have to do it. One of the responsibilities of our office is to be sure that we are 90% compliant in both criminal, probate, and civil in order for you to have these grants. So it's very important that my people stay on task and do their job. So I respectfully ask for a part-time employee, 24 hours, no package to go with it, no insurance or anything, just a part-time employee. Thank you very much for your time, and I wish y'all each a good day.
thank you. We can make comments on this.
Oh, you can? Okay.
Yes, this is a public hearing, this is what this is for, so we have to interact. Anybody got anything they'd like to add or say? Because this is on the agenda. Okay, we're moving next to Ruby Manning.
Good morning, gentlemen. I'm speaking to you as a member of the County Elections Commission. For the last 4 years, or in January, it'll be 4 years, Olga Marrero has been our elections administrator. During that time, she's never been compensated for this additional work, other than the regular 3% raises that you get annually, or whatever that percentage is. I know this is late to need, and I don't really expect you to take action. I just want to go on record that it needs to be corrected, and we will come forward in the proper way in the next budget cycle. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody have any comments or questions? Okay, then we're moving to the next one on the list, which is Jan Hart.
First of all, I apologize for sending in my request late, but I have an employee that wants to go full-time and with benefits. And I don't expect it to happen in this budget year, but I will ask for it in next budget year. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody have any comments or questions? This one? Okay. And the next one on the list is Don Burnett.
I want to provide each of you with a printout that I have completed completed. I was just informed this morning that we only have 40 minutes, so I'm gonna have to cut my request pretty short. If you read through my presentation that I've provided to you, I have two things that I'm asking for. I'm asking for salary increases for my employees and an increase in my overtime budget. The salary increases, I'm not sure if each of you know this, but a large percentage of my budget is paid by the taxing entities. While Wilson County is a taxing entity, most of my budget is paid for by the taxing entities that I collect for, which, because my software was paid off this year, there's gonna be a tremendous decrease in my budget because of that. I was also cut in a couple of other places that I had asked not to be. So I'm asking that I be able to utilize this money from these taxing entities to increase my salaries in my office. It's not gonna be, it will affect y'all in a small way. You can look through the Excel spreadsheet on the back that reflects what I charge the entities. So that is the reason I'm asking for this request. As Eva stated, you know, my office has not slowed down because of everything. I feel that I should be able to pay my employees a decent salary. That way it allows me to keep them. If y'all have any questions pertaining to what I've provided you, please ask me. And I ask that you take the time to look over it. The other thing that I'm asking for is an increase in my overtime budget. Before I came into office, there were part-timers hired every year to process the mail for tax season. Since I've come into office, we've done away with hiring part-timers. We've allowed my employees to come in on their day off and process mail, tax payments, return mail. The amount that I have right now has helped. However, I run out about halfway through tax season. So that is why I'm asking for an increase in my overtime budget. Like I said, I ask that each of you look through the paperwork that I've provided you, and I'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have. And thank y'all for taking the time to listen to me.
Anybody have any questions or comments?
Dawn, you're saying the overtime is just strictly for the tax season?
Yes, the overtime is strictly for tax season.
When we used to have part-time people doing it.
Right. The budget for part-time used to be a pretty large budget in the tax office budget. And I've done away with that. It just leaves room for error when you hire outside people to come in for a temporary job. I feel better, and you should feel better, that our employees that are trained to do this are the ones that, take their time to come in on their days off to process this. And when I mean mail, I'm talking tax payments and all the returned mail. In return, this helps me get our collection money out to our taxing entities, and it helps us notify the taxpayers. The process is a lot better when we're able to get returned mail scanned into the system, and then we can mail out corrected tax statements to them. And it is a long process, and it does take a long time to do that.
I have a question.
Okay.
Okay, the tax statements, isn't that when they brought all the extra people in, is to prepare the tax statements and mail them?
They used to do that, and then they used to hire additional people to come in
Yes.
and process all the mail.
Okay, who's doing, are we sourcing out the tax statements?
The
now?
tax statements, yes,
Okay.
are mailed out by an outside company.
Okay.
And
That was when they would be back in the back of the tax
Yes.
office and have a whole room back there,
Yes.
everybody be stuffing envelopes,
yes,
and that was
right. But now, our
Now it's
employees
outsourced.
are the ones processing the payments.
but that is outsourced.
That is outsourced, but all the
Where
return,
all the people were coming in was outsourced.
Yes. No, not all the people, no.
Okay,
I think that's where the misconception is there were people hired to send out the tax statements, to stuff the envelopes, but then there were people hired to process the mail, the payments. And
okay.
that's the difference.
I wasn't aware of that part. I was aware of the part where there were people, that I remember seeing back in that office back there, not
Yes.
the office, but in the back.
Yes,
All those people.
yeah. Those people were only hired for like a short period of time to stuff those envelopes and send out the tax statements. The other people would be part-time, temporary people that would process payments and stuff during tax season.
Okay. Anybody else have any more questions? Or? Okay. Okay, is there anybody else?
Judge, do you mind if I?
Yes.
Good morning, everybody. I know that this year, with COVID and everything, that the budget is very tight. But in the future, I really would like for y'all to keep my office staff in mind for raises, especially Sandra, because she's been here over 10 years. As you can see, extension agents will come and go. But if we don't have a solid office staff, the office is not going to keep running as efficiently as it has been. Sandra, since Brian's left, she has really stepped up and put out the programs like he normally does. She's been helping me a lot with the Feral Hog program, reaching out to people, getting any information that I can't get. So with that said, please keep her in mind if y'all do any salary increases. Thank you.
Okay. Is there anybody else who would like to comment during the public hearing? Okay, does anybody here want to make any kind of a comment or statement? Okay, then we are moving along to agenda item 3B, vote on setting the salary, expenses, and other allowances of elected county or precinct officers. Local government code 152.013.
Judge, I'm just passing out what was posted on our website for your review.
But everything's pretty good. This is something we have to take action on.
Make a motion, we approve it as presented.
Motion by Commissioner Wiley, second by Commissioner Hyde. We approved salaries and expenses of elected officials and precinct officers. Do you have any comments? Questions? Want to call for a vote? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
Opposed.
We have 2 opposed. Okay, now we're going to agenda item 3C, vote to ratify property tax increase, local government code 111.008C.
Commissioners and Judge, the Wilson County property tax rate in fiscal year 2020 was .4851 cents for every $100 in taxable value. It's my responsibility to ensure that the taxpayers' dollars are accurately accounted for and budgeted in an honest and ethical manner. This year, I was able to prepare a proposed budget by not increasing the tax rate for fiscal year 2021. I'm proposing to keep the tax rate the same at .4851 for every $100 in taxable value. The voter approval rate, which is the highest tax rate that Wilson County could adopt without holding an election, is .5007 for every $100 in taxable value, and I don't see the need to increase our property tax rate to that amount. I'm asking the court to vote on ratifying the tax rate and the proposed budget provided to you on July 31st.
Could you repeat the tax rate, .8451?
.4851.
No, it's last year's, right?
And this year's, correct. I'm going to go ahead and hand out the proposed budget, which has the tax rates on the cover sheet as well.
Okay, and again, this is to ratify the property tax increase, which is the tax rates. We're going to set a hearing for that.
Correct.
Okay, and the property tax increase was $581,596, which includes new property and other things also added to this.
Basically, the tax rate you're proposing for this year is the same rate as we're, this existing now, we wouldn't increase our rate.
That is correct.
Okay. Well, I'll make a motion. We accept this proposed rate as.
If the tax, the property tax increase?
Yes.
Okay. Motion by Commissioner Hyatt, second by Commissioner Wiley. Do we have any Comments or questions?
So by doing that, you're accepting the budget, correct?
No,
No.
we're asking to ratify the tax rate. The next line
The
item
tax.
would be the budget.
The property tax increase.
Can I ask a question, Judge?
Yes.
Is this proposed budget the same as what is posted online?
It is.
So the changes that you've made to my budget don't reflect in there?
Which changes are you referring to?
The reduced budget for mine because of the software?
Yes, everything is updated in this
Okay,
proposed.
but it's not updated online?
I'm not sure if Kristen updated it or not.
The one that's online is the one from the library first.
Yeah.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. No comments or questions? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Commissioner Gomez?
Aye.
Okay. 2 opposed. Okay, now we're going to agenda item 3D, adopt budget for year 2020, 2021, local government code 111.008.
So I've handed out the proposed budget. Last year's budget increased by 8.25% in increases from the previous year. And this year, I'm pleased to inform you that it's significantly lower with only a 3.56% increase in expenses and general expenses overall from the 2020 fiscal year budget. So I presented it to you for review.
This is, everybody's had this to review for quite a while.
Judge, before we make a motion on that, I want to say something about the adopted budget. On last year, when we proposed that budget to increase to $1,319,882, which was a 8.2% increase, which taxes were raised 1 cent, and then you, the judge, said by going 7.99%, it would not go into a rollback, and then if that wasn't enough, the 1 cent that we increased brought in another $270,000. All these increases and road and bridges didn't benefit nothing, and said that this would be the only time we were able to do this increase in the budget. So now this year, you're proposing a 3% increase again in salaries, we would add up to $266,181. And last year's salary also increases close to $290,000. My point is that yes, every employee is a hardworking employee for the county. But at this time, with the pandemic going on, and some taxpayers are without work and hurting financially, in my opinion, this is not the time to give raises. We have to understand that this is the taxpayers' money. And I'm not in favor of giving raises at this time. Last year, this year I am only getting $17,000 increase in my budget, which is not enough to maintain the roads. Every year we're falling behind on maintaining the roads, and especially in subdivisions. So every year we have increased for employees and salaries, and for road and bridges, we only get a small amount on the budget. And this is what we have to explain to the taxpayers, that there is not enough money in the budget to fix the roads. How the money is split up in the county budget, how the money is split on the county budget. They are not too happy when I explain to the taxpayers on how the money is split up. So the years you've been a judge, you have never come up with a future master plan for the county. Therefore, I'm saying it every year that we need to have more workshops in the future so we can discuss issues that are concerning in the county's future. So, thank you.
Anybody else have any comments or questions?
Is it, we can recommend taking something out of the budget?
What's that?
I like to pull out the what we're giving the ESDs, 1, 2, and 3. That'll save over $160,000.
Okay, that is something we have to vote on, it's just, it's there.
Well, it's accepting this budget, I mean, we're gonna give them money, right?
Well, that's something we vote on at the, okay, can I talk? That's something we vote on at the time, okay? We're still gonna be giving ESDs, I don't know, if they're ESDs, volunteers, associations, and things like that, okay? That, and I have discussed this with our auditor, okay? When we don't, if we don't, okay, because I know at one time we were gonna stop giving the ESDs money and changed our mind at the last minute, and did. In case we did again, that money will be there. If we don't, that money will be changed over to the contingency line item. But we have it in there for all ESDs, all volunteer fire departments and ambulance services right now. I said, those that we're talking about, I hadn't planned on, you know, that's gonna have to go through Commissioner's Court, and I haven't planned on recommending, but just in case, because I do know one time that we had thought about taking it out, and that didn't go. So it's there, just in case.
I would be, I mean, again, I know that's something we'll do with later. I would be in favor of diverting some of the funds to the volunteer fire departments that we have in the county. The 2 new ESDs that we have are gonna need support for a time because they're not gonna receive funds to operate until next year. But I think that as these ESDs, as a whole group mature, then I think we need to eventually back out of support for them. I mean, they're taxing entities, they're raising significant capital on their own. But the few remaining fire departments that we have, I think there's 3, is that right?
There will be 3 as of right now, though, there's 4, because one of them, which that area voted to go for as an ESD 5, and they haven't got any tax dollars.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying,
as
is that,
volunteers.
is the 3 that we have that will remain long-term.
Yes.
At this point, long-term, not a part of an ESD. We need to look at funding them a little more in the future until perhaps that part becomes an ESD. Again, the 2 new ESDs are gonna need support, and I think we need to take a look at diverting some of the funds away from the ones that are more mature.
And it's been, I don't know how many years since they really brought up that ESD and picked it up already, so financially, I think that they're in good shape, because they're taxing entities already, so that's why we give them a lot of years so they can catch up, so.
Yes, well, this is, if we discontinue it this year, which is probably gonna happen for some of them, the ones that are, like you said, are established and have been here for a while, then next year we won't put it in the budget, but it's in the budget this year in case, and then like, we can do what Commissioner Wiley said, divert some of it to the other ones.
We may need to provide some funds, potentially, to the ESDs for mutual aid until we have ESDs everywhere, and they're called to support areas, because the volunteer fire departments are not as well equipped and not as well manned as they were even when I became a commissioner, because that's all changing. And so there's going to be a need for the ESDs to go in and do some support. So I could see some funds, but that doesn't mean the same rate they have now.
I think we need to meet with the ESDs and the volunteers to see what their annual budget is now based on the revenue they're raising. So we can have an idea of what the needs are. Do we have a duty to protect our community, fire and EMS employees? I think we do. And I would not want to make a decision without all the facts.
And if we remove the amount from the budget, it will not be there, because as it's set up now, those are in their own department, so all of the line items fall within the same department. So if
the court decided at a later time to increase. Another one of the volunteer, it's as simple as a line transfer versus coming to the court and requesting an emergency budget transfer, which there would have to be solid reason to consider it an emergency.
But again, I think it's important for us to understand what their budgetary needs are.
Sure, absolutely.
And if we can cut from one ESD to provide volunteer based on their revenue, that would be the wise thing to do, I think. But I think it'd be better to make an informed decision by having this conversation with these different entities. Well,
We can have a meeting sometime during the, we'll probably not do this in the future. Sure. After the budget is.
I mean, but they're working on their way, so they want to know whether we're gonna give them anything or not. We can't wait very long.
The ones I spoke with, I said, do not count on ours. I know one of them had it there, and they didn't have it designated for anything. I mean, I don't know how they do their budget, but.
Well, they're in the same position we are now, that's why it's a good idea to visit with all of them, so we can have a conversation about what needs and demands or whatever, they may have. Assist or not.
When you look at the information that the tax assessor collector provided, you can see that all ESDs are not necessarily created equal from the standpoint of income. So we need to make an educated determination, but I don't think that, I think it is something that we're gonna have to wean them out of, and make certain that we're covered. But tax dollars for the county are gonna become tighter and tighter. We're gonna have to take a look at that as we go forward.
Do you have any questions on any, quick comments on anything else? This is another action item. Adopt the budget.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Commissioner Wiley, second by Commissioner Hyatt to adopt the budget. Is there any more comments or questions? Okay, all in favor? Aye. All opposed?
Okay.
Commissioner Wiley, Commissioner Fowler, Commissioner Thomas. Okay, the budget passed. Now we're going to agenda item 3E, set the tax rate hearing date. Have we got that date down somewhere?
Yes, Judge, I'm sorry. Right now, we would have to publicize it in the Wilson County News this Friday. Submit it to the Wilson County News this Friday to be on the website on September 2nd, with the tax rate hearing scheduled for September 14th.
Okay.
For me. We're gonna do that in conjunction with what was court that day?
Well, September 2nd is not a court date.
I thought you said the 14th.
No, the 14th. The second is the date of the notice, the public notice.
Okay. So that can be done during Commissioner's Court?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Can I get a motion to set the tax rate hearing for September the 14th during Commissioner's Court? Motion by Commissioner Hyatt. Second by Commissioner Fowle. Is there any comments or questions? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, so we have this set for the 14th. 10 a.m.?
That's fine.
Okay, now we're going to, next agenda item 4, public comments. These are just regular public comments. None? Okay, now we're going to agenda item number 5, certificates of completion and awards. And we have several here. Okay. I'm going to start with this one. I'm going to read just the totals on the tax office. And these are Department of Motor Vehicle courses that the girls take. during the year?
These are the required courses that all my employees had to complete by August 31st in order to log into the DMV system to process transactions.
Okay. Dawn Flossie Burnett completed 50 DMV courses. Ruby Camarillo completed 51 DMV courses. Rosalinda Soto completed 51 DMV courses. Patricia Zamora completed 48 DMV courses. Kristen Richardson completed 47 DMV courses. Helen Guerra completed 41 DMV courses. Elizabeth Fox completed 35 DMV courses. David Cohen completed 40 DMV courses. Wendy Troquel completed 41 DMV courses. Jennifer Ray completed 45 DMV courses. And here we have here, okay, certificate of attendance. This certifies that Olga Marrero, Rose Lavas, Rose Pruski, and Rosalinda Sanchez successfully completed 17 hours of professional education development by attending the 38th Annual Election Law Seminar for County Election Officials conducted by the Texas Secretary of State, July 22nd through 23rd and July 27th through 29th, 2020 in Austin. And this certificate of completion, this certifies that Rose Lavas, Olga Marrero, and Rosalinda Sanchez has successfully completed security awareness training for the Texas Secretary of State, August 19, 2020, 1 hour credit, security awareness. Any more? Thank you. Moving right along to agenda item number 6, Richard L. Jackson County Judge discuss and take action on rentals of the Wilson County Expo and Community Banquet Hall and Barn. Okay, we have made a decision not to rent it out until the banquet hall until August 31st, and this is the last Commissioners Court meeting before or that date, and I was thinking possibly opening up to a rental of, if they wanted to have a meeting party or whatever of 100 people or less, and open the barn end up.
Jen, you know how many requests Christine has got, do you know any?
No.
What's the occupancy, maximum occupancy of the facility?
Edwin's not here, and I do not have it.
It was about 250. As long as they kept it this.
Max occupancy is 600.
Is it 600? I thought it was in half of that, but I was.
Full, full. But I'm talking
Yeah,
about-
full.
Yeah. But I was gonna suggest opening it up to small parties or small groups. Because there is enough room for 100 people to be in there in social distance.
And who's gonna oversee that, of the social distance?
The same people that oversee all the other social distancing. Wherever you go, when it's a school, whatever, whoever oversees it, it's social distancing out and about. It's kind of a personal deal. You gotta,
Okay, mask
Do it
requirements
yourself.
too?
what's that?
The mask,
Yeah, the mask is an executive order from the governor.
Well, I know they had a function out here at the city, they didn't have it on,
Well, better call the governor
you know?
and tell him they didn't have their mask on.
And are we gonna require officers out there when we?
If they have beer.
Because that's gonna be one of the feedback. You know, who's gonna enforce it? That's my biggest concern.
Like I said, the same people that enforce it everywhere. There's not any law enforcement dedicated to masks. I haven't found it yet. we can vote to leave it and not allow anything, or, like I said, I was gonna start, open their schools are having functions, they're practicing football, there's all kinds of softball tournaments all around, soccer tournaments. They're starting to happen.
But that falls under the youth sports activity that the government, okay.
I do believe other venues.
Well, I'm just
are
using that as
renting
an
them out.
example, that people are starting to do things.
I mean, my only concern is who's gonna be there to police it, who's gonna make sure there's only 100 people in there. You know, you gonna open up to weddings or.
Okay, it's gonna be the same thing. We don't have somebody out there when we rent it out to be sure that they're going by everything. You know, we rent it out and it's their responsibility.
It would seem to me that if we were going to rent it out, that we would need, and if we're gonna put a number, 100 people there or whatever, you're gonna need some sort of supervision to make certain that there's not 150 people there. It's a difficult thing. I just took my wife out for our anniversary, week before last, for the first time to go out to dinner since March the 1st, let's say, and we went to a really nice restaurant. You had to wear a mask to get in. All of the people that were there that were serving wore masks, but once you got to your table, obviously you can't keep a mask on, and there were tables that had 12 people around. Now, they were distant, you know, everything was distance, but I don't know. This thing's not over yet, I do know that.
No, it's not.
We've been fortunate, and when you look at I look at the daily information we get daily, obviously, and we're one of the better faring counties within our Region 8, but we still have some issues.
No, their issues are gonna be here until there is a vaccine or something to
Yeah.
prevent this.
It may be another year or so. I mean, I hope not, but you don't know the answer.
Well, since the county owns the facility, we could, in the contract agreement to rent it, just put in there a stipulation that masks required upon entry. After that, you know, if it's a wedding, it's family, friends, or whatever, then it'll be up to them to social distance. But I think just to protect us, we should say, if you're gonna rent this all, you'll have to have a mask in it. It's like they do in a restaurant, then when they get and sit at the table, they take their mask off. But just give the people some guideline about it, that, you know, we're concerned about it, but we're not enforcing it anywhere else. And this is going to be a private rental of county property, so.
But the thing about the restaurant, is that owner is, he's the one mandating that, the owner of that restaurant. We're the owner of the expo hall.
Right.
So we need to be, because people are gonna rent it.
But
You're not gonna enforce
the
it.
difference is that as the owner of the restaurant, I've followed the governor's mandate, maybe taken a couple of further steps, but all the people that are working there report to me. And so if you've got somebody that, you know, if you get up from your table, you gotta put a mask on to go to the men's room or the ladies' room.
The
And I
people
think,
renting it ain't gonna enforce it.
no, but I think if we were gonna rent, and I'm not sure we should, that we could do, very much like, Commissioner Hike suggested, and have some guidelines. You know, you wear the mask until you get inside. We recommend that, you know, not necessarily at your table, but if you're up and about, that you put your mask on. But I don't know what they would have done. I didn't see anybody get up and walk through without a mask. I don't know what they'd have done if someone would have. They would have probably just told them to put a mask on.
We have just a few bookings in the, both in the inside hall and the back one.
We have a few,
A few
some
bookings.
interest.
Yes, yes.
Did she say what kind of numbers? I mean, they're talking about,
Well, they'd have to abide by whatever
Right.
Yeah.
restrictions we set.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what's going on in the back of the house, or in the front barn.
I'm talking about the front barn,
Right.
the banquet hall, how many people they
Right.
looking to have? or-
Because I know the Grand Ole Opry, they,
That's another thing, I mean, but if we start letting, the opera's gonna wanna go in.
Well, if we do, okay, say 50% of capacity, which would probably be 200, around 250 people.
Right.
yeah,
Now, the reason that I just mentioned the number 100 was for groups of, there's some meetings that have more than 20 people and they don't have enough room in other places to have a meeting. They could have a meeting there. Not necessarily, because not many weddings are gonna want to limit their people to 100 people.
I think 100 to 150, if we're gonna do it, would be the number that we should shoot at, or shoot for. It's a difficult thing, because it's just a matter of, whether these start and whether that causes the virus to spread a little more quickly within our county.
and I know we have, lamb and goat validation in
Well, that's
October.
different, that's in the back barn, and that's not,
Okay.
I mean,
And I was like, open the back door up for that, but it's fixing to be that, or it is that time of year.
the other question I got, who's gonna be going in and sanitizing after every event or beforehand? Is it gonna be on our people?
Well, we can put it on whoever is using the facility. Keep it sanitized, but, and I'm not sure how to sanitize the back barn, to be honest with you.
No, I'm talking about the banquet hall, brother.
The banquet hall, that could be part of the cleanup, because we have to clean up. So, they
It
can
also
take their
says
fogger.
and barn hall, it says banquet hall and barn on the agenda item. So,
Well, we would have a duty to sanitize the hall. I mean, we could require they do it, but with us not being there, making sure they did it properly.
And we've got
That's
those,
no value, you're
those
right.
foggers that, yes, ma'am.
I have a question. Sarah Kennedy, JP2, Wilson County. Just as an observer in our community, I've had many people approach me and ask, when are we gonna open the show barn? When is the expo gonna be available? The county commissioners voted to become a county event place. And as you all mentioned, many venues are beginning to open. And as they open, as Commissioner Wiley said, the private entities, they are held accountable for their particular things. As a community, we have a little bit of a different structure. And perhaps Catherine Chapman or whoever it is on our legal team could come up with a contract that must be signed. And then that would give the owner, or put the onus on the renter of the facility to be responsible for everyone who comes and goes during the time that they are there. And that would perhaps maybe be written such that if they don't, then the county will not be held liable for those people. I think that as citizens of the United States, and Texas specifically, we should be trusting, we should trust the people in our community, that what makes people good citizens is what makes people good citizens, what makes good communities. And I believe we have an excellent, excellent community. I think that we have people in our community who know and understand, they're intelligent, and they're willing to do what's asked of them, to be done of them. But I think it's a travesty and it is unjust to restrict these community members from meeting and gathering and being responsible when they can be. I think it is unjust for us as a government to say, no, you can't meet here. Yes, it's a facility. Yes, your tax dollars go to support it. Yes, your tax dollars go to clean it and to help manage it and all of those things. And yet we're saying you can't use it because we're coming from a base of fear. Do we want to come from a base of
We
fear?
were faced like the state and the federal government was with an unknown. We didn't know anything about the virus, how to treat it, how to prevent it. So the precautions for the safety of the citizens chose to close the hall.
Exactly,
Now that we're learning more
exactly.
on prevention, and we have some self-responsibility as citizens to take care of themselves as well, that's why we're considering reopening it, but we would need to have some restrictions that we would put in the contract, and we have a contract now to rent. We could add some provisions to identify this, and then it's self-responsibility.
Exactly, that's what I'm talking about, and that's exciting, and I think that if you're on a personal family.
The person putting on the wedding or the event would be informed, it's gonna be up to you to inform, to enforce that.
And I believe that they will be
And
responsible.
if they do or don't, that's where the self-responsibility comes in. And I just want to protect the county by having a provision in there on the contract saying, this is on you now. We're gonna rent it to you, this is what we require or recommend, and you take it.
Do we want to go to like 50% capacity?
I'm sorry?
Do we want to go like the 50% capacity?
Well,
Just
whatever
the
we
recommendation?
make, yeah, the recommendation for it, yeah.
And
What's the governor saying on that?
there's still 50% capacity, in math, social distancing, all that other good stuff. But I think we follow that recommendation that we open the banquet hall up after August 31st to 50% capacity and open the barn up, just open it up, because there's gonna be validations and other things preparing.
I make a motion that we open it up, provided we add some provisions about, some of the regulations that we would want, or the requirements we would have for people running the
50% capacity?
Y'all all agree with that?
Yes.
Sounds good.
Yeah, Kathy, how quick
I would
do you
agree
do
with that, with provisions for COVID protection.
We got till the 31st if we.
How quick can you get a contract, kind of written up, where we have these changes, where they have to wear a mask?
Well, I would just take the one we have, probably and add a paragraph.
We got a motion by Commissioner Hyde,
I'll second.
second by Commissioner Fowle. Is there any more discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
And the fee's gonna be the same, right?
Fees are gonna be the same. We're not
Can I say
changing the fees.
one more thing? I think, the governors, we may say also, as the governor makes varied proclamations, that we will be following what his proclamations are. As we know, some of the big cities are kind of turning their nose at it. So I think that would be important to put something like that in there.
So we'll follow the governor's recommendations.
Well, that's why we have you.
Okay, so we are going to start with limited capacity, open the banquet hall up and the barn.
We need to vote on
Did we?
that. No.
I made a motion.
You made the motion, you need to-
Judge, can I say something?
Yes, sir.
I attended, been attending a couple of functions here at Benefits on Sundays afternoons. I made here 2, 3 here recently. There's people, we're talking about masks, they're not wearing them. I made one function that people were wearing. Another function, people weren't wearing. Even the police officer was sitting right there, he didn't wear one. So if you're gonna make rules, we're gonna need some enforcement on it too.
Okay, now, if we have to do the enforcement, that's law enforcement.
That's what I mean. We're
Well,
gonna
but
need
I
help.
don't think the governor.
We're gonna need help from the law enforcement. You're gonna need help from the law enforcement.
But here's the deal, I'm not saying, okay, this is statewide. This is not just the expo center, okay? You see people, social distancing and not social distancing and not having masks on, and there's nothing happening. Are we gonna single out one building in Wilson County, and that's the only place that's gonna get sanctioned for not having a mask on? Has anybody ever heard of anybody getting a citation for not having a mask on?
Not in Texas.
Well,
Well, they shut them down in Bear County.
if you go to a restaurant in South
Give me
Bend,
some examples, because I have heard
The hall,
not one
last
person
week, they
getting
shut it down.
a ticket in Wilson
I
County.
called Bear, took their license. because they weren't social distancing and not wearing the mask.
That was a TABC?
Yes.
No, that's because they serve more alcohol than food.
Exactly, but if somebody rents this and has a wedding and has alcohol,
Oh, yeah.
They have to have officers in.
right, but like he said, are the officers gonna
Okay.
enforce it?
Or the enforcement, or we're gonna have enforcement.
And I'm just saying, it hasn't been enforced anywhere yet. I have, like I said,
No, not in this county.
countywide, we got 50,000 people in Wilson County, and hasn't been a ticket written yet.
No.
For,
That's where the self-responsibility and personal choice comes in. If you want to send them in,
And the host,
yeah,
the host, whoever
if
they
you're not
are.
comfortable with people not wearing the mask,
If you can make all different types of rules, but you need enforcement.
But you can't enforce a law that's not a law.
Well, at least you can tell the officer will come in and say, hey, sir, put your mask on and do this or that.
I don't know, what's that town where the sheriff is finding people for wearing
Like I said,
masks?
I attended one function, one benefit, officer just sat there with the people, with a crowd, under a tent, no mask up. So,
It was
Take it as it
a
is.
police officer or a
police
sheriff's
officer,
deputy?
Wilson County.
We need some sort of caveat that if COVID starts to increase in the county, that if you booked something for November the 15th, I'm pulling that date just out of the air, that it's, you know, we're booking, but it is something that could change.
I'm going on a limb, so by November 15th, this will be cured.
I hope you don't fall off that limb. I don't think it's real sturdy, but I hope you're right.
It may have a miracle cure about the 3rd.
One way or the
Okay,
other.
so we've got, I thought we voted on that, didn't we?
No.
We just got the first and the second.
Got first and a second, then, okay. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so we will have the Showbarn open up with restrictions.
Christina has the contract.
Yes.
And I said, Showbarn is the banquet expo and banquet community center. Okay, agenda item number 7, Richard O. Jackson County Judge, Oglala Elections Administrator. Discuss and take action on approving the 2020 primary election polling locations.
It's gonna be a little later than
Oh, yes.
yeah.
Now, we have 2 new locations, which is box 101 and 416.
that. 101 and 416.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that 416, is that little building right in
Right
the
across.
Is it big enough?
It is.
It is? Okay,
It will have,
1,200.
right.
okay.
And where is it?
That's right
Is that
across
metal
the
building? It always looks little to me.
It does, but we actually went in there and they actually have a, testing area, so
Okay,
it'll accommodate.
so will the church let us use our parking?
Yes, they will.
They will? Okay.
Yes.
That's good.
The fireworks, is it handicapped acceptable?
Yes, it is.
It is?
Yes, it is.
Get a free bottle rocket with every vote.
Okay,
I'll make a motion to accept the boxes.
motion by Commissioner Gomez, second by Commissioner Hayek to accept the voting polling locations for the primary election, or the general
Oh,
election.
that's
This is
okay.
primary.
We got a good church though.
It does say primary, but
It does, but it's the general election.
Right, and the second, is just information as far as our hours and, late nights. We should have a spreadsheet as an applicant, this information.
So you're saying on the item, instead of saying primary
It
election?
should say.
It should say
So
general.
General on the top, yes.
Okay, we have the motion and the second to accept the locations. Is there any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we got that. Moving right along, oh boy. Richard L. Jackson County Judge, Brenda Trevino County Auditor, discuss and award bids for the following. We want to say do them all? Okay. A, material hauling, material bus hauling. B, fuel. C, towing, D, lawn service, okay, pursuant to Texas Local Government Code 262.027E, Commissioners Court may the Commissioners Court may award a contract to more than one bidder if each bidder selected submits the lowest and best bid for road material for a particular location and type of material. In determining the lowest and best bid, the location and type of bid, the court may consider the pickup and delivery locations and the bidder and the cost to the county of delivering or hauling the material to be purchased. Have the commissioners decide which ones they want to accept for their precincts?
Except what?
If y'all decide which ones y'all want to accept for y'all, because I know it's different for you than for Paul or Albert, because if y'all are on that side of the county and they're on this
I
side.
think we just do like we did last year, accept all the bids. And it's up to the commissioner to choose which vendor.
I agree, just because the accessibility of materials is always available, when TechStop is rolling out and everything, give us an option to get from another vendor.
Yeah, absolutely, and a lot of it is one, as we, I think the judge stated what he read, is you have one where the price of the material might be a little higher, but because of the convenience, and the hauling, it's a better option.
And I noticed on this, that it's close to the materials, is one of the lowest bidders. We've never used it before. Pretty much for every precinct.
Where are they located?
I have no idea.
Well, it says, FM 3006 Pleasanton, Texas. But it might make sense for you on the western part of your precinct to go down. It doesn't make sense for me. Unless they would be the only source.
On this, motion
I make a motion on the material hauling that we accept all bids and that leave it up to the commissioner to use the still fit that's best fits their precinct.
Motion by Commissioner Fowle,
Can you repeat
second by Commissioner,
the motion? Can you repeat it?
I didn't hear it either.
I made a motion to accept all the bids and leave it up to the commissioner to use what vendor's best price fits the commissioner in his area.
Lowest and best.
Lowest and best.
Okay, motion by Commissioner Fowle, second by Commissioner Gomez. Is there any more discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? So, that's what we're doing there. Now we're going to agenda, 8B, fuel.
They're both identical. I make a motion that we approve both cruise and Mid-Tex.
Motion by Commissioner Wiley, second by Commissioner Hyde, to approve both because they're identical, and I think Mr. Wiley. Commissioner Wiley uses one, everybody else uses the other. Okay. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
Can you collect the names of the two
Now we're
companies?
going to 8C, towing.
And Mid-Tex.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Now, I have a question, Mr. Ansel, we call additional charges or fees or charges, the supervisory, $250 an hour?
$275.
And 275. When would that be a necessity to have the supervisor?
I don't know.
Or is that one on every trip?
That might be on an extensive repair we clean up.
Did they have any, Brenda, did they have anything in the bid? that
I'm sorry?
explained that? Did they have anything in the bid that explained what the supervisory
No.
services were?
That to me would be a concern.
Sheriff, do you have any idea what that's about?
What's that?
On the towing?
It says supervisory fee of $275 an hour, additional fees or charges.
That's, Commissioners, that is, and Ms. Chapman can speak to it as well, because I asked her about, this is the specific vendor that is not within 30 miles of the furthest point of Wilson County. And so my question to council was, can we disqualify that vendor, or they're not eligible, because in our bid specifications, it does state that they have to respond within 30 minutes.
They don't have a yard?
And they do not have a yard.
No.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons we're going out for bids, is for
Right.
response time.
Right.
They do not have a yard in Wilson County or
The furthest, right, it's their, office is out, I think at 1604 and I-10 in San
Where is that?
Antonio.
Which one?
The Pantuso, Pantuso, or whichever.
No.
No, that won't. Okay, that would disqualify them.
Right.
Because like I said, that's one of the reasons, other than the charges, but one of the reasons was response time.
Correct.
So
Do
their,
that.
their towing charges
We're significantly less, I believe, but
are a lot less expensive than the others, and they addressed every item on this list where the other two didn't.
But they're out of the county. The problem is the
Yeah.
response time.
We're gonna have to use them for large vehicles.
Who?
Pantuso?
No,
No, quality is for,
quality.
Yeah, quality haul one of my dump trucks the other day.
Okay. Guess we're not, then I was looking at the cover.
I make a motion, we accept Rick's towing
And quality?
and quality for heavy duty record.
Rick and quality is what you said?
Yeah.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, motion by Commissioner Johnson, second by Commissioner Wiley, we accept Rick's towing for the small vehicles and, quality for medium and large. Correct?
Correct.
Okay. Is there any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So we have that taken care of. Okay, now we're moving to 8D, lawn maintenance services. And this is something we have discussed, we can, okay. The maintenance, people are interested in mowing, taking care of the yard themselves. We've got,
One of the things I would like to speak to, Judge, on that particular item is that with the lack of rain, we've been watering extensively. And therefore, we have been calling out the current vendor to come in excess of what,
It's in the contract.
what's in the contract, because of the
And
pipe
I
and
don't
grass.
understand that, because we have more maintenance employees today than we've ever had. You know, I see them scattered, I see them, in my opinion, not being as productive as they could be. I think they need somebody needs to oversee it, set out a schedule for them to do specific duties every day of this week and this week, because I think there's a lot of wasted time. I know that to change light bulbs, our maintenance has asked people to hire somebody to come change a light bulb. That's ridiculous.
on that light bulb deal, I looked into that. They weren't changing the light bulb, they were changing the fixtures, and the light bulbs came with it. The fixtures were the old ones, and they changed them to LED.
Okay.
So that's the reason.
I thought that we hired that one guy for, he was the wizard all, to do all that.
I don't think he's a certified electrician.
Well, we never had one, and they used to do it.
Good.
Oh,
Our maintenance department is really inefficient, Judge.
I disagree wholeheartedly.
Well, what I've been seeing, with this maintenance is that, we got more office now to take care of. And I know that there's one guy over there in the Justice Center that takes care of JP4, JP1, DPS, and, motor vehicle, driver license. Then they go to precinct 2 and precinct 3 to take care of probably the library also at the end. But what I don't understand is that that guy is supposed to be taking care of that area. It's over here picking up water hoses or cutting grass. Because it don't make no sense.
Don't make any sense at all.
They don't
You got
have
too
a
many
schedule.
people here.
Well, they
Somebody
probably
needs to sit
need-
down and make a very detailed, thorough schedule about what their assignments are. We don't,
Because
and we won't have.
if we hire them to do the maintenance on cutting grass and all that, that's what happened the year before that when we had them.
They couldn't take
They
care of
couldn't
it.
take care of it. So now we're trying to go back and put them back to cut it, and
It takes these guys to do all of our mowing, a little over a week and a half, to do all of our facilities. That's weed eat mow. Not, everybody just thinks here at the courthouse, we got the expo hall, we got the jail, now that they're all having to maintain all that big area over there. Over here at the school, the library, Camino Real. It's more than just here at the courthouse that they're having to mow.
Well, I have one of my crew that takes care of my yard, takes care of the baseball field at Sutherland Springs, that 5 to 10 acre lot next to that, and JP3 in one day.
Okay, I'd like to address this. You know, the current people that we have mowing the lawns, they don't pick up trash before mowing. So therefore, once they mow, it's shredded everywhere. They don't blow off the sidewalks, so all of the grass is coming into the buildings, you know, as they mow. And it does not take them that long to mow. They were here Friday evening for maybe a couple hours. And as far as the, you know, the maintenance people that we have, you know, they're cleaning my office once a month. They're not picking up trash because of the COVID. We're having to pick up our own trash. And, you know, when you need something done, they don't respond to you. I have the problem over and over trying to get our head maintenance man to respond to a text. If I send him an email, he says he doesn't get them. He just does not communicate. And anytime he does have to do something, he has his little helper right there with him. So I don't understand how it takes two people to do one job at all times.
Okay, so,
I would just say that I think it would be good, as we all have job descriptions, this maybe.
okay, everybody, excuse me a second, let me say something.
Yeah.
This goes back. Everybody's got a different idea of what everybody does. I'm here fairly regular, like everybody, and see them working. I see them doing something. We have one of the new guy we called, he knocked a wall out down at the elections office and put a wall in. He couldn't be following anybody else around while he was doing that. And we usually have to hire somebody to do that. All we had to pay for there was some material. And we had some of the material that he worked. So we're getting some work out of these guys. They're doing things that we used to have. We used to have Felipe hired weekly. Now we haven't had Felipe here in months.
At that time, we didn't have as many maintenance employees either.
What's that?
We didn't have as many maintenance employees.
That's the reason we got that. But like I said, this one person, they've done things. They've repaired things on the elevator, the floors, the coming in and out. They've done things out at the expo center. I disagree with what y'all are saying they're not working.
I'm not
We're
saying.
not saying they're not working,
We're not saying
I'm just saying they're not as effective as they could be because they don't have a weekly schedule to follow and know what needs to be done during that week to stay on top of everything for all the
Okay,
different offices.
I know that Greg Highsaw had a weekly schedule. I don't know that they're not paying attention to it, but I do know he did. Get
I
that together.
volunteered to manage them for a month.
Greg is he's the one's in charge. We put him in charge.
What happens when he doesn't respond? I mean, you ask
Okay,
over, and I'm not the only one that has that issue.
Responded.
Years ago,
And okay, we're not here for maintenance, we're here to accept or reject bids on lawn service.
I'll make a motion that we approve all above construction lawn service.
Okay. Motion from Commissioner Fowle, second Commissioner Gomez.
I will say, Judge, that once all of the funds are exhausted, if we end up using above all construction, once the funds are exhausted that are budgeted for that, we would have to use our own maintenance personnel to continue with cutting the grass anyway, unless Commissioners Court were to approve to increase their amount.
Bi-weekly,
How
remember,
many-
by the contracted bid, it's bi-weekly,
Yeah.
not every week.
Up to a certain dollar amount.
Right.
Three? Three, okay.
Okay, what about like wintertime?
If you don't need them,
You know, they
call them, tell them you don't need them.
No, okay.
Okay, we got a motion on in the court, we got a motion and a second to accept all involved construction. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
I'm gonna vote for it. So, any opposed? Okay, so we've got all of the bids taken care of. Let's move on to agenda item number 9.
So did it pass or not?
Yes. Michelle Jackson County Judge, Brenda Trevino County Auditor, discuss and take possible action on disbursement of hotel occupancy tax funds.
This is pursuant to
section 352.1015, use of revenue, general provisions in the tax code regarding the hotel occupancy tax. It states that revenue derived from the tax authorized by this chapter is to be expended in a manner directly enhancing and promoting tourism and the convention and hotel industry as permitted by the applicable provisions of the subchapter governing the use of revenue by that particular county. That revenue may not be used for the general revenue purposes or general governmental operations of the county. So we currently, as of Friday, have $52,616.81 in the hotel occupancy tax fund. I did move that into its own separate fund so that we have revenue moving into the new fiscal year. And so this is the first year that we've been collecting the tax. And it's my recommendation, I feel it's in the best interest of Wilson County and taxpayers, that we expend and disperse some of those funds. And at the time that I calculated it, I was calculating it at 50% of what we had at the time, which is a total of $22,500 to disperse, as you see on the paper I gave you. And this was based on research regarding organizations as defined in the tax code to promote the tourism in Wilson County.
So why is the difference of 2,500 to 5,000?
Because you'll see that Livonia Chamber of Commerce and Livonia Greater Chamber of Commerce are two entities within the same location. So those two totals combine the same amount that you have for the Opry, the Peanut Festival Association, and then the Stockdale Chamber. So if you'll notice, like the Stockdale Chamber, Peanut Festival, and there's one more. I can't see.
It's only got towards the Chamber of Commerce, 2,500.
Right, so the Chamber of Commerce, those are, okay, so when you consider the hotel occupancy tax, it's how many heads we put into beds right into the Wilson County. And so based on my research, these different organizations are the ones who promote tourism. And so I took those organizations that actually put heads and beds into the hotels that are collecting the tax as a consideration for the higher amount when I was taking the 50%.
Well, the hotel you're talking about, does that include RV parks too, or is this just actual?
I'm not sure, does it include RV parks?
Not RV parks, just,
Are there any other hotels?
just the little,
The lodges?
I call
and
them the huts, but I think they're lodges.
Yeah.
And if they stay over a week, we don't get any money for that, because that's considered.
Consider the job as opposed to.
So are we dividing this based on the revenue generated by each location, or just?
No, I just took the 50% of what was in the fund at the time and figured, and then I backed into that amount and then based it on like Stockville, Floresville, those that again put the heads in beds, as opposed to the chambers. When I spoke with Judge Jackson regarding what actually the function of each chamber does and if they bring business to our local hotels as opposed to the others, the Stockville Watermelon Jubilee, Peanut Festival Association, et cetera. And then I just backed into that and just did a flat number. And I still came in under the 50%, but I already calculated that and I didn't want to increase at that time because that's.
Is the Livonia Chamber and the Greater Chamber, they the same, or they separate?
They're two separate. Yes. You'll notice there's nothing from, we cannot find.
There's not, I spoke with Mayor Eccles last week to kind of gauge her, get some information from them, and there really wasn't anything that she could solidify that promotes tourism. They do have an economic development corporation, which is a taxing entity, and that does do like Friday nights, summer movie nights, and things like that. But I did ask her if she felt it promoted tourism within people from outside of Coast, and she said no, not really. So we didn't find an area to distribute into Coast.
I guess I'm just, Mr. Gomez, why is Stockdale get 5 and Floresville gets 2,500 for the chamber?
Because the Stockville Chamber of Commerce puts on their annual festival, which brings in thousands of dollars of revenue and hotel occupancy for their festival.
Yes.
Mhm.
And it's busy, right? Surprised me. And we have a hotel, plus we have lodges.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
And actually, I looked through, the treasurer receives, tax, the hotel occupancy tax from the Stockville, or I don't want to say the wrong name, but there are the lodges in Stockville every month.
Right.
There's something, yeah. That's why the dollar amount is different from the regular one. So, ultimately, I mean,
So I'm gonna be happy if you wanna just take what's coming out of that town and put it back in there. They'd be coming out a lot better than 5,000.
ultimately, it's just, I think it's in our best interest that we don't sit on the money because it's money that we are collecting, and in order to comply with the tax code, we have a responsibility to disperse it in some fashion or use it in some fashion. The reason I left the 50% in there as of now is we never know if the county, if us as Wilson County wants to decide in the next fiscal year if we want to use that money in some fashion to promote tourism within the county, we at least have some money to fall back on.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Motion by Commissioner Fowle, second by Commissioner White, we approve the disbursement of the hotel tax, hotel occupancy tax. Is there any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that's motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Doing the work. Okay, we're going to agenda item number 10. Wichita Jackson County Judge discuss and take action on allowing county employees to volunteer to work for the food bank at Wilson County Expo and Community Center on Wednesday, September 9th, starting at 7:30 in the morning. Employees will be compensated. If any offices would like to get together and go out and help with dispersing or distributing the food, we're having the food bank go through like we did before. This is what and Commissioner Fowle usually puts this on the agenda when this.
How long is this event take, all day or?
All day.
Well, it starts at 7:30 in the morning. Usually we're through with the distribution or right after lunch.
Time to get everything
So
picked
the
up.
employees will just return it to their office after that, or what?
Yes.
After that, but it'll be the better part of a day out there.
Again, I encourage, but we were kind of shorthanded last time. We helped the city where we could go, and it was really shorthanded. And I encourage everyone to kind of encourage your employees to come out. I'm not saying everybody from your office, but at least a couple of people or so. It's a good call, because we're serving everybody from the county. We're not just serving Floresville or Polk or whatever, it's everybody coming. And it's safe.
It's safe and it's a lot of work, but everybody that's been up there said they enjoy it. They be tired as they can when you get through. And we'll have a meal for you after, when it's over. I see.
I'll make a motion that we approve.
A second.
Motion by Commissioner Fowle, second by Commissioner Gomez, that we approve the compensation for the employees that want to work at the food bank. Is there any more discussion?
The only discussion is it says employees will be compensated. Does that mean they'll just still be getting paid? from
Yes,
their
Right,
hours?
they're not taking no time off to go out there.
They won't be gone, let's put it that way. Okay. Okay, any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Okay. Wichita Jackson, agenda item number 11. Wichita Jackson County Judge Michelle Mota, Grants Manager, discuss and approve the submission of a county feral hog abatement grant to the United States Department of Agriculture administered by the Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Wildlife Services. Okay, there was an opportunity to get a grant to help dispose of wild hogs, feral hogs. Michelle took the ball and ran with it, and she can explain to you what it is, but I'm definitely in favor of this, because we've The wild hogs are way overpopulated.
Good morning, Commissioners and Judge. Just like the judge said, this is a grant by USDA, the U.S. Department of Agriculture, administered by the Texas A&M Agricultural Extension and Wildlife Services. It's the most we can be awarded is $20,000 at no cost. It is not a cost share program. And performing feral hog abatement activities. So as doing the research, there are obviously millions of hogs in Wilson County, and they do devastate and cause our farmers and our producers millions and millions of dollars annually. I have given you a target area of where some of these abatement programs we could potentially target. As part of the grant, there has to be a water quality component in it, which is why I started as the watershed for Cibolo Creek. And only the areas that are situated in Wilson County. So I request from you all, as you all also have a proposed work plan and a proposed budget, that we submit this grant and see what we get. We are looking at an educational program. I have worked closely with Nicole in the Extension office. Education workshop, possibly an all-day workshop, possibly some raffle items, and I've definitely done some major research on aerial hunting, aerial gunnery, and that is a beast in and of itself. There's a lot to that, but I think we've located some pretty good contractors who are very, very versed in the law with regard to feral hunting, feral hog hunting, and licensing regulations in the state of Texas. So if we get awarded, we'll find out all those details and probably come back with you all to accept that award. We should know we were awarded in October, but I
Will you get
requested.
bids from various vendors?
I'm sorry?
Will you get bids from the vendors who provide the service?
Well, I mean, I will offer the quotes, but it's
Quote,
less
yeah.
than 20,000, so, I mean, it would even be less than,
They'll just give us that price, so we can decide.
correct. And I will say that the ones we have received, there's a company out of Bryan, Texas, there's a company out of El Paso, and there's a company right at the nearest is Uvalde. And I like those prices a lot better. But not really looking towards a bounty program just because that one would be a cost share. And I don't know that that's
And it
as
would be
effective.
bundle, I mean, it'd be time consuming, we'd have to have
Right.
somebody dedicated to.
Right, and I am looking to use the grant assistant position that you all approved a few courts ago to help and basically provide the project management oversight for this particular project, which you also see in that proposed budget. I'm not looking to hire anyone else.
Okay, but I know, like, the code, does the extension agent or service do not fly anymore like we had before?
I'm sorry, what's the question?
The Texas Parks and Wildlife was working with the extension agent, and they flew over the county several times already.
Yes,
It
so,
cost us, but they don't do that anymore?
only so we are not, in agreement with the Texas Parks and Wildlife or the Texas Wildlife Service. Something that they have to come to Commissioner's Court, y'all have to approve on, but, what I found out is it wasn't approved on because of a cost share. The county didn't want to pay for them. However, when they have time, extra time to fly over, they do cover part of Wilson County when they have time to come.
I know that trapper that was in this area, he's retired, I don't know if they ever hired somebody back or not.
Yeah, so that's part of the cost share with Texas Wildlife Services. And it would have to be an agreement with the county and Texas Wildlife Services for them to hire somebody else to solely fight the feral hogs in Wilson County. And as of right now, we do not have an agreement with them to do it. So the only thing that they do provide is on occasion when they do have time, they'll fly over parts of Wilson County to take out some feral hogs.
And I know his job back then also was to get with the landowners to get their permission to fly over.
Yes,
Who
so
would
that's,
be under this grant.
That
Yeah,
would
we'll
be
be
the
working
helicopter, the helicopter company that,
They would go out to each landowner and get their permission.
Yes.
Okay.
and I have conferred with all of them, they have all had experience in doing that. So the big thing with that is obviously the administrative cost will drive up that process. So I am waiting for the new budget season, new budget year to, be able to get, some software that will help with that and reduce some of the costs, on their side, on the contractor side, with regard to identifying landowners and truly, shaping and targeting those certain areas.
The good part about it is the program lasts for a year. Trying to get these people to come do this during hunting season probably won't be acceptable by most ranch owners, and then the feral hogs will be more active after January anyway because of weather. So this is giving the vendors the opportunity to provide that service anytime within the year, correct?
I'll make a motion, go ahead and do it.
Motion by Commissioner Gomez, second by Commissioner Hall, that we proceed with the submission of the grant. Okay, is there any more discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, this motion carries.
Thank you.
Hopefully give us a while. Okay, agenda item number 12, Jan Hartle, County Treasurer, financial report. Not today, okay. Then we're going to agenda item number 13, Dale T. Boswell, Human Resource General Specialist. Payroll and personnel changes.
Okay. Devin McComber began working as a part-time tax customer service rep with the tax office, making $11.50 per hour, effective August 17, 2020. Gabriela Gonzalez began working as a temporary part-time clerk with the county attorney's office, making $10 per hour out of the PTD fund, effective August 17, 2020. Santiago Morales received his Master Peace Officer certification and will receive a $25 per month increase in certification pay. Ramon Sarna resigned from his position as a corrections officer at the Sheriff's Department effective August 31st. And Francisco Garcia was terminated from his position as a corrections officer at the Sheriff's Department effective August 18th.
Thank you. It's all, nothing affects anything in the budget, so the line items or anything, so informational, thank you.
Yes,
And, okay, now we're going to agenda item 14, Brenda Trevino, County Auditor, bills.
Total payable in this quarter is $326,209.37. Nothing out of the ordinary.
Make a motion to accept the bill.
Motion by Commissioner Gomez, and second by Commissioner Hyde to accept the bills from the county auditor. Is there any more discussion or questions? All in favor? Oh, well, we have a question.
So I was asking on the autopsy in Burrow, how come they're all different prices, different autopsies, or different?
Some of them are,
Different size body, or
nope,
what?
some of them are,
But you
some of them are
get tons of
storage,
tests.
some of them are storage, some of them are transportation. You know,
Some
And-
charge for different bags, depending on
Yes.
the severity of the case, they're all over the place, so.
Just curious.
it's,
They charge by the foot, you'd be really.
What it is?
no.
You don't
It's we, and I'll tell you why, since you've asked that question, I've met with, I haven't signed it yet, we will have I met with Judge Hurley over there to try and maybe get together with like a 4 or 5 county, and get our own medical examiner. That way we can do our own pickup and our own medical examiner stuff. If we can, it's right now, like a break even, but we still got a lot of, that's just in the works. But we got a first, motion and a second. Any more discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay. So we have approved the bills. And we have agenda item number 15 and 13 more minutes. You want to take a small,
Recess.
we have to just take a break. We're not going to recess, I'm just going to sit here.
Okay.
It's battery charger for the battery.
We've had that trouble too, man. We don't have that.
And, yeah, David was saying that, what y'all do? I was thinking, because I had it hooked up to the pickup, I had it plugged in, I had battery charger on it. It wouldn't come on, you had to push it on, and it wouldn't, you know, on the, look at this. It wouldn't come on, so we just left it there. Brought the boat back. That's what we were just gonna move it, and we gotta get it inspected too.
Yeah, we do too.
Yeah. What's that? Oh, yes, I can. Okay. Look back. This is the only break decided on this one.
You watched the last episode?
Tonight.
Mm-hmm. Yellowstone?
Yeah, Yellowstone. They shot Kevin Costner.
Yeah, but is he gonna make it?
Yeah, well, he's there. Hit his phone.
I already recorded and watched it Monday night.
Yes.
Get rid of all the commercials.
Uh-huh.
Don't have to
So
pay.
what do you think? You think, I
The
think
ranch
this,
farmer's gonna save them all.
I think the son put all that in play.
Oh, I
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Get that.
The adopted one.
That's also past my bedtime. It's in my bedtime on Sunday night. I watch that and get all excited and be up till 1 in the morning.
No, Nathan.
That's how I want to be. You know, when I was in retail, whatever, okay, I don't know, 11, midnight was the standard time, and got up to 7 o'clock. Malls don't open until 10. That's actually the church store I was going to. I did that forever. I'm not a morning person.
It's on page 14. On this one. Sorry, I guess that would be this
I got this morning. I do it. If the alarm goes off, I don't snooze.
Yeah. I think so. I think you're all right.
But she got really in on
I know. Right?
Nice recovery.
Let me grab this real quick.
We still have 7 members of the
They're the easy ones now?
Yeah, they'll do the easy ones now. After this are coming. That's why it's in the cooking counter.
That's the thing we're gonna close. Everybody in. Yes, and everyone is better than. If we wanted to change it, we could change it. That's how that works. Christina and brother, she can get a hold of them. And it's only gonna be 200 pounds. So this is a lot of those people off. Yeah. If I was her, I wouldn't have it just because you're gonna, half of them are gonna be happy, half of them are gonna be mad. Oh, they have, it's packed.
I know.
That's all, they met they got one. Or just say, when so many tables up.
Yeah.
That's, he said she may hurt herself if you have
Not on that day, not for that time.
If we feel right there, we don't your thumb. I don't fit, people don't fit. And they just put it up for full, not more.
I'm protected.
Hey, it's 11 o'clock.
Oh, yeah, we'll have. Okay, it's 11 o'clock. Okay, it is 11 a.m. We are going to hear agenda item number 15. Okay, Ernest Skip Hayek, Commissioner Precinct 4. Brenda Torino, County Auditor. Okay, discuss and take action on implementing a county policy relative to employee pay increases as proposed by the county auditor and approved by the county attorney.
I will refer that.
Commissioners and Judge Jackson, I'm making this recommendation in accordance with local government code section 112.001. in the county system, the county with a county auditor and population of less than 190,000. In a county with a population of less than 190,000, the county auditor may adopt and enforce regulations not inconsistent with law or with the rule adopted under section 112.003 that the auditor considers necessary for the speedy and proper collecting, checking, and accounting of revenues and other funds and fees that belong to that county. Therefore, I'm recommending the following policy become effective immediately and included in the Wilson County Personnel Policy Manual. And I did have several meetings with County Attorney Tom Caldwell, and we have discussed this and typed this to be added into the policy that reads, individual employee salaries are budgeted accordingly each fiscal year by the county auditor and cannot be changed at any time during the fiscal year unless a promotion has been given in accordance with the Wilson County Personnel Policy Manual, section 4.19, promotion. If an employee resigns or is discharged, a new hire will be compensated at the base starting salary or up to the salary budgeted for that position, and any difference will not be available for disbursement among other employee salaries unless the requested change has been presented to and approved by Commissioners Court. I'm asking for your consideration to include that in our employee, Wilson County.
Did you read that, or maybe the last
I'm going to give you a
sentences
copy.
again?
This is your copy.
Yeah. For
Which one, I'm
the
sorry?
last two sentences?
If an employee resigns or is discharged, a new hire will be compensated at the base starting salary or up to the salary budgeted for that position, and any difference will not be available for disbursement among other employee salaries unless the requested change has been presented to and approved by Commissioners Court.
Okay.
And that was Tom.
And now what is it doing?
So it's in accordance with the Employee Personnel Manual, section 419 regarding a promotion. So basically, it is allowing an official to increase someone's salary with a promotion as described in the policy manual. But then if there is a difference in salary that cannot, and that position is not filled then from the one that they're promoting, they would not be allowed to disperse the difference of that salary among other employees without the permission and approval of the court.
Wouldn't wouldn't the court approve that through the budget anyway?
No.
They wouldn't?
So originally, if somebody retires or quits, you can bump up the next person to that level of what they're paid. Right? That's what we're saying?
That is correct. If it is in conjunction or considered a promotion as described in 419 with additional duties, et cetera, higher level work.
And how does that benefit us?
Well, at the end of the day, what it disallows the disbursement of unnecessary funds to other employees' salaries that have already been budgeted because each position is budgeted accordingly. So it would, in an essence, benefit the county if every elected official worked really hard at not using that disbursement as an opportunity to increase salaries, instead reducing our bottom line of expenses at the end of the year.
Okay, so everyone will be starting at the entry level?
No.
No, if somebody retires or quits or gets terminated, whatever that position salary is, it's up to that department head or elected official when they hire a new person. If he thinks, like for instance, Road and Bridge, if I feel like one of my persons leaves and he was making $40,000, if I hired a new guy and I felt he was worth that money, he could start there, or he had to start at the bottom. It's up to that elected official
Or anywhere in between, but just not in excess of and cannot use the difference to disperse anyone who has not received a promotion.
So if you have the guy leave that's $40,000, let's say he's your foreman. You can promote someone into that position and have them be at $40,000.
Correct.
Or you can hire someone for $40,000. What you can't do is promote that person and pay them $36,000 and take the other $4 and give it to.
The rest of your employees.
Okay, my next question is, so you promote somebody that's making 36 to 40,000. Okay, then that salary's open, is that correct?
If you promote someone within your department, yes.
Okay, then somebody can be moved into there, then creating another.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I'll make a motion to accept, exclude this as
I'll second.
Motion by Commissioner Hyatt, second by Commissioner Gomez, to accept the new policy. Is there any more discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries. So, at 11:07, we are approaching agenda item number 16, adjournment. Yeah. We've been lucky here with it, so.